welcome and tally-ho. You have now entered the cosmic radio receptors of KCRW 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon. Thank you for tuning into this week's fantastic program. I'm Dr. Gigi, and my co-host is, as always, Jacques Kepner.
Greetings,
How are
everyone.
you today?
I'm doing fine, Doc.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. It's a special day for you because it's Wednesday, and you get to get off on Wednesdays. This is like your Friday night.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so we always have fun. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Doc and Jacques Radio Variety Show here in Brookings, Oregon. Special thanks to sound engineers Tom Bozak. What's up, Tom? And Michael Gorse was just in here. Hello, Michael. Linda Bozak listening out there, and many others. You're hearing this live syndicated show on KCIW. That said, the same syndicated show will be rebroadcast in exactly 1 week from now, each and every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Don't sleep too late on KZZH 96.7 FM in Eureka, Humboldt, and then a few hours later at 1 p.m. at my old alma mater, KFUG 101.1 FM in Crescent City. So now you know, the Doc and I have your coasts covered. Everybody's friend, Doc Bellardi, reached out to me this morning, and he wanted me to alert everyone that since tomorrow is Thanksgiving...
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Well, for you people that are hearing this next week on KZZH and KFUG, it's going to be 1 week old. But there are all sorts of turkey cookouts going on in different places. But one of them is in Crescent City between 12 noon and 2 o'clock. It's a completely free turkey dinner with dessert and beverages and as many as you like for absolutely zero money, and they're all happy to do it. It takes place at the Del Norte County Fairgrounds between noon and 2 p.m. We might just stop in and say hello, and I can't really eat too much meat, or I'm not interested in much of the meat, but hey, it's the camaraderie that we all seek. All right, what marvels and good medicine and health tips does my German medical doctor, patent-holding scientist, and university professor have for us today on this week's health segment of MDGG?
Well, let me tell you. When I suggested to Jacques the other day that I was going to talk about gallbladder issues, he said, nobody that I know suffers from gallbladder issues. So boring. Well, he be's wrong.
I stand corrected, doctor.
There are about 15% of the adult population that have gallbladder issues.
Wow, that's a lot, actually.
Yeah, right? So it's 1 in 7. So let's talk about what the gallbladder is.
What is the gallbladder?
Well, let me tell you. The gallbladder is a little pouch whose main purpose is to store and concentrate bile.
Oh,
we say,
fun.
what is bile?
Yeah,
well, bile is a fluid that is produced by the liver, and it helps to break down fats during digestion and then absorption into the body.
Wow. Well, speaking of food, doctor, if a tomato is technically a fruit, does that mean ketchup can be a smoothie? I'm just asking. I don't know.
Just laughing.
All right. So what about fatty foods?
So when we do eat the fatty foods, the gallbladder releases the bile into the small intestine so that though we can take up the fat or the fat-soluble vitamins. So because fat does not mix with water, and our blood is mainly water, so the bile has a water-friendly end and a fat-friendly end, and so it surrounds the little fatsicles, so we can take it up.
The fatsicles?
So it
it's like a car wash, right? It dissolves the grease.
Right, it's like
Hey, I thought of that just now spontaneously. It's pretty good.
So now you're thinking, what can go wrong?
Oh.
So what can go wrong?
Yeah,
What are gallbladder issues? Common problems include gallstones. We all know about gallstones. Acute and or chronic cholecystitis or inflammation of the gallbladder.
That's what drives me crazy when she says those words like that.
And biliary dyskinesia, which means the poor emptying of the bile outside of where it's stored.
Okay, do you know why Apple couldn't talk to the orange, doctor?
Why?
Because it didn't know Mandarin. That is a child's joke. You're allowed to laugh all you wish, Lon.
So then you say, what are gallstones?
Yeah, the kidney stones? I've had those.
Yeah, gallstones are different. Gallstones are hard little plooksies that develop when substances in the bile crystallize and clump together inside the gallbladder. So there are cholesterol stones, pigment stones, and mixed stones.
Like margaritas, mixed or on the rock, right? Or stirred or shaken, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What is the fastest, speaking of fluids, doctor?
Yeah.
What is the fastest liquid on Earth?
What is it?
Milk. Because it's pasteurized before you see it. Pasteurized? Oh, shoot. Oh, it's the same as, okay, you got it this time.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Gallstones.
So why are gallstones bad? Well, gallstones by themselves are not bad, but they can obstruct the outlet for the bile, and then
Doesn't
they are
sound
bad.
good to me.
So when we eat fatty foods, the gallbladder tries to squirt out the bile. But if the outlet is obstructed by a gallstone, then the gallbladder squeezes and nothing comes out. This squeezing is very, very painful, and it can result in an inflamed or an aggravated gallbladder, which then is called cholecystitis.
Oh, boy, another long name. Yesterday, Dr. Gigi complained that I need to, quote, grow up, she said. Well, I was speechless, mainly because I had over 45 gummy bears in my mouth and I couldn't talk. All right. What else do we have on the gallbladder?
Well, so if you have the cholecystitis, then we usually have crampy pains on the right side of our tummy, right upper side of our tummy.
Is it underneath your liver, right?
Yeah, it's right under the
Okay.
liver, especially after fatty meals, because that's when the bile is being squozen out. Also, we can have nausea, vomiting, bloating, and sometimes pain that radiates to the back of or in between the shoulder blades. Complications, and now this is the bad part, really. Complications can include pancreatitis, which is the very dangerous part.
Yeah.
If the stones block the pancreatic duct in there, infection, and jaundice if the bile ducts are obstructed.
Jaundice is when you turn yellow.
Yellow, right.
Okay.
And then the bile, and that's the bile. That's the bilirubin, actually.
Didn't people used to routinely get their gallbladders taken out? It was like a secondary. What was that what I'm thinking of?
No, I think the tonsils.
No, tonsils. I thought gallbladders were removed. Okay, well, I know several people that had removed. Did you know that Adam and Eve were the very first people in the entire world to not read Apple's terms and conditions?
That's pretty funny.
All right, what else do we have?
So how do we diagnose this inflamed gallbladder? We do that with a so-called positive Murphy sign. So
Murphy?
so
Really
that's
like
why, the doctors push here and there. So the Murphy sign is when they push right where the gallbladder is in that area, and then the patient catches or stops breathing like that because the pain all of a sudden is sharp. So you can push in and let go, and then you can see when the patient actually is in more pain. Because the inflamed gallbladder then contacts the fingers of, that are prodded in the body, and then they try to get away from it with that movement. But that's a poor man's thing, but that's how it's done normally, like in the outpatient setting.
I push on my body all the time.
More sophisticated methods include the ultrasound.
Oh.
And then they push with the ultrasound on there and see how you react. And the so-called HIDA scan.
HIDA?
HIDA scan, we can actually physically see when the gallbladder fills and squeezes out, and we can see if it maybe doesn't even fill any bile or nothing comes out because it's obstructed.
Do you ever HIDA prognosis for your patients? HIDA. Okay, that was a bad joke. Hey, if tea and coffee are married and the tea...
one bad joke. Oh.
if tea and coffee are married and the tea leaves, does that give the coffee grounds for divorce?
That's a cute one.
Just want to know, did you know that if you replace your hot, fresh brewed morning coffee with flaxseed and green tea, well, you'll lose 87% of what little joy you still have left in life. What about surgery, Doc?
If you do get surgery, it's called cholecystectomy, or the coal bag takeout translated. which is then the surgical removal of the gallbladder. And it's usually done by, it's called laparoscopy.
Laparoscopy?
No, I can't talk. By a...
Laparoscopy.
With a, what's that called now? With a, not a computer, a robot.
Oh,
usually.
robotic.
Yeah.
They do it, huh?
Once you get it done, most patients have substantial relief from that gallbladder pain because it is really bad. And then they can eat normal foods. However, some have only temporary relief, and they might have to limit fatty foods. And
there's nothing really bad about that. We should all be living on less fatty foods, right?
Well,
right, sort of.
Okay.
Hey, this one you got to listen to carefully. A Tibetan monk was making his morning toast when he looked down at the margarine and he saw in it the face of Jesus. He gasped and he said, "I can't believe it's not Buddha." We haven't got a peek out of him yet. I think he's snoring over there.
So some people who have the cholecystectomy, they can actually develop something called cholecystectomy syndrome, which is a collection of symptoms such as fatty food intolerance. They can't eat any fatty food anymore, or consistent upper abdominal pain, consistent bloating, consistent nausea, heartburn, diarrhea, which can actually start right after surgery or months or years later.
Interesting.
So mainly it is caused by the altered bile flow because the bile is not stored anywhere anymore. It just kind of slops out of the liver and it tries to bind any fatsicles out there. So that can cause these symptoms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I have a little bit more appreciation for gallbladder, what it is, and thank you for illuminating me. I never thought it was that popular of a organ, and it's kind of hiding behind the liver. It's a little pouch. You said it looks like a pouch. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I find it ironic that when a vegan gives up a bad habit, they have to go cold turkey. Or why is it when two vegans get into an argument, it's called a beef? Okay, enough. Thank you, Dr. Gigi, for that great illuminating dissertation on the gallbladder. All right, folks, I have something. A friend is in the studio with us today that we'll get a kick out of and have a good 45 minutes at least talk with, and that's Lon Goddard. And Lon is one of those rare people whose life seems woven from pure creativity and curiosity. I mean, he represents proof that the universe indeed does have a wicked sense of humor. From the buzzing newsrooms of London to now living in the quiet beauty of Southern Oregon coast with his wife, Claire, I must say. Hello, Claire.
Hi.
He has lived the storyteller's heart interlaced with musical rhythms. From what I know of this man and new friend is that he has spent decades turning life into melody, every day into a story, and always, just always, a little bit of mischief. Lon is so many things. Where do I start? Well, he was a character, so he still is. You know, the people that draw quickly, the
cartoon.
No. What is it? Characters?
Oh. Caricaturist.
Caricaturist. There it is. He's that kind of an artist and other types.
Well, she's got a lot of gall talking about my bladder like that.
We're talking about your gallstone, not your bladder. Oh, no. Here he goes.
Well, I mean, Jacob's bladder. I heard of that one, but
that was Jacob's ladder. Jacob's bladder. God help me. All right, he's been that artist guy. He's been also a pop journalist, and boy, does he have stories to tell about that. He's a guitarist, a songwriter, actor, film maven, and always a community instigator. Lon seems to collect talents the way some people collect, talking about it early, coffee cups. Lon has the credentials of working with London's weekly Mirror newspaper, and through that, he became associated with dozens of celebrities, and he has backstage past stories to tell about so many famous folks in the musical and theatrical realms. Today, we are excited and honored to spend a little time with this legendary LG, as he's called, E-L and then G-E-E, Lon Goddard?
It's my initials.
That's your initial, but I like the way you spell it. Like El Picanto. LG, he's a character whose journey connects continents, communities, and countless hearts. So settle in, turn up the volume, and enjoy this ride, because here is our very own nearby legend in the studio, the one and only Lon Goddard. Lon, welcome to the Doc Jacques Show.
Welcome, Lon.
Ciao, mate.
There you go. Now, why I couldn't stir a single laugh out of you with those fabulous jokes.
He was bursting apart inside, though, right?
Well, ask me anything, I'll tell you twice.
All right, Gigi, start hitting him with some good questions.
When and why did you move to our coastal region, and how long ago? When? That is the when.
I got here in 1992.
Whoa. Wow.
Something like that, way back.
Has it totally changed completely?
Well, my sister, who lives in Thousand Oaks, she's quite a successful real estate person, but she hated it. And she said, I went through, like countless other people have said, it's almost a quote now.
But she
I
hated
went through
Thousand
this
Oaks?
really nice little town called Brookings up on the Oregon coast, and it was just beautiful, and I want to live there.
Right.
Wow.
I had just come back from England. Parents had died, and I'd bought the family home on the money they left me, which is ironic. And it was like a morgue, though, living in the home that we used to have full of kids and what.
Right.
And I said, well, I'll just go ride point for you if you want to move up there. I'll go and see what it's like. So that was what was going on in 92. I come up here, and I thought, well, she's right. It is a nice little place. And I got a room in the Checo Inn when you could still do that. And I looked around and I sort of started getting in contact with people to try and do some kind of artwork. I wound up doing some sign painting while I waited till she came back to me saying, well, I'm not going to move.
Your sister says, I'm not going to move after all.
No, she was a fanatic who couldn't get rid of her real estate problem. So I was here, and I have been here ever since. I just expanded into anything that I could find, which, again, ironically, I think the chief thing that I got involved with quickly was the local radio station here at the time. It was called that, as I forget, but it was run on the public channel. And they had a program called Coast Stories, where a single crazy man with a camera was running around interviewing people he thought were interesting in the area.
Interesting.
And eventually he got in touch with another fella, and they started doing a duet where one guy was actually interviewing somebody and the cameraman stayed the cameraman. I think the only episode of that I saw on the channel was where his new apprentice was interviewing somebody in a funeral parlor, and it was a really dead piece of television.
Truly was.
So I went to him and said, let me try this. And I became the guy then who interviewed everybody while he filmed. And that went on for quite a long time.
Thank you.
And I met a whole load of people, which expanded everything, including Elmo Williams.
Right.
Wow.
Okay, that leads us to your next question, Gigi.
Well, taking it away. So we had dinner with the current owners of that lovely seaside house where Elmo and Lorraine Williams lived. Can you tell us some fun stories about Elmo?
I regret that I met Lorraine only twice, I believe, and she was really sitting in the kitchen somewhere while Elmo was holding court with a lot of other people. So she was pretty quiet. I can't really say too much about her, but regarding Elmo, tons. He's a talker, and since I just interviewed him out on his gazebo for the TV station.
Oh, he was one of the people. Okay,
which I still have on tape. The 25-minute interview back in '93, it would be, I guess. And we got along very well because I'm fanatic about movies, and he was movies personified.
Yeah.
So I started into the theater. Let me just twist that around. Tom Jones, who runs a songwriting company, still Brookings Signs and Graphics in in the town here. He was a member of the Checo Pelican Players. And he said, you need to meet these people because they're all crazy too. So I went in and I met them, and I wound up being on stage all the time.
Right.
And then we decided that we were going to do some shows on Elmo Williams and the films he'd done.
Oh, cool.
I paired with him and became the compeer while Elmo was the subject. And we did 24 shows.
Whoa.
So I got to know him quite well.
Nice.
And we planned the shows out almost like they were comedy routines before we unleashed him to go ahead and talk about, and he could talk about absolutely everything to do with cinema. But we always had a funny little playlet that came in and introduced the show, which I devised. And we would do something quite bizarre before we dragged him into the corner, sat him down, and said, now talk.
Wow. Cool. And he lived to be 104?
102.
102, okay. And is he buried somewhere in Azalea Park?
I'm not sure that he's where he's interred, but there is a memorial in Azalea Park. Well, Elmo actually named Azalea Park to begin with.
Really?
Oh, I didn't
In the
know
very
that either.
beginning. And the city council here, when he passed, wanted to do a memorial, so they came to me and asked if I would write something for it. And being an illustrator for many years, which I was official in London, professional illustrator, I designed a plaque to be done in brass. And I wrote a couple of stanzas there, and then I had a profile of Elmo, which was done by Nancy Tuttle, a terrific sculptress who used to live here. And that's in the park now.
Where is it in the park?
Yeah, we
were trying
looked. We tried to find it.
Where is it? Is in that little where the path goes around? That
Well, where the
By the
car park
gazebo.
is,
Yeah.
if you do a left out of that and walk in, it's just in there.
So between Car Park and Capella?
No, the
Bella's on
Bella's
the
on
far
the other side.
Which car park then? I mean, there's several
Oh, the
car
car
parks.
park that's up by the
Well,
playground, right?
The car park that's across from St. Timothy's.
Oh, that car
That
park.
car park. If you go in the left,
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Exit.
and you go
Oh,
up
left
pathway.
up.
you only go a couple of feet, and there it is. It's an alcove. It's got 3 benches.
Oh,
It has
yeah.
this
By the benches.
memorial with the brass plaque on it.
And your name's on that?
It is, so I don't need a tombstone. It's already there.
Perfect. Now we know. And we'll get to that question in just a little bit. Now, we recently saw you at the Wild Rivers Film Festival. You were up on stage. It was a celebration that you were there because the movie Dezo.
It's a Dezo Hoffman, Beatles photographer.
There we go. Tell us about your relationship with Dezo. It's fascinating.
Well, Dezo was born in Austro-Hungary, but he grew up in what was then Czechoslovakia. He got interested in photography as a kid, and because things were so roughed up in Europe at that time, he wound up as a teenager working his way west with his camera. So he went through 2 world wars, 1 and 2,
Wow.
and the Spanish Civil War, and worked his way into London. When he got there were no wars on, but he found this band called the Beatles that he'd heard about because some fan up there in Liverpool, where they were first starting, kept on badgering him, saying, you got to come up there and see these people. And they badgered Record Mirror at the same time. And Dezo was the Record Mirror official photographer.
And Record Mirror was a weekly paper.
Weekly news color paper. Eventually, Record Mirror buckled under and said, all right, we'll send somebody up there with Dezo. And they were astounded by the talent. And so Dezo took a lot of pictures, which became the signature photos of the early Beatles, where they're in the air.
They're jumping up in the air. Yeah. That was a great.
The
So
movie,
for a long time,
the
they were.
movie called Dezo Hoffman, right? The movie was called Dezo Hoffman, or the portrait, wasn't
well,
it a
it was done by
documentary?
the Czechs because the Czech film company or the Slovakian film company you have to use their language in English, and that's why it says Dezo Hoffman photograph Beatles.
So tell us some more details about Dezo. You would go out For instance, he was ordered out by the newspaper editor to go out and take pictures of celebrities, and then why would you tag along? What was your?
No, it was the other way around.
Was it the other way around? Okay, gotcha. He would tag.
We were working in the office, and of course, we have to keep our ears to the ground as to what was big, who was big, and so I would go out and interview someone that we arranged, and we'd call for Deso to come and photograph the person while it was being done.
Gotcha. And you have interviewed dozens and dozens of pretty big name people that you ring a bell.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and you played a part in that movie, the biography of Deso Hoffman. And sure enough, we're watching it, big movie production, and you're there starting with Paul McCartney and all these other people reflecting back on Deso, and there you are wearing a classic hat, talking about Deso. So what an experience that must have been to have him tag along. Did he ask all the people he interviewed, or you were interviewing? Did he tell them jump up in the air?
No.
But
he would direct them into where they should look and how they should smile or not smile. Deso was a good film director as a cameraman.
Wow.
So how many pictures, when they all jump in the air, how many pictures did it take to come up with that perfect one?
Many.
Oh, he would go click, 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 click. So I'm sure when he got back to the studio, he just selected the one where they were in the position he wanted.
Back in the old days when they had developed their own photographs, right? Wow.
Yeah, the old days. Nothing was digital.
Okay, so you have a tendency to be hanging out with influential people because you are you're a talented person. So you've had Deso, and then you got into know Elmo and under that realm with him. And you mentioned earlier about Pelican players. What did you play every role there was? Were you like in every play for a long, long time?
Well, after Tom Jones told me I should meet this load of loonies.
A load of loonies.
I saw them doing The Man Who Came to Dinner. It was a play. And it required three. It was about a man who took people out of prison and brought them into his house and cooked great meals for them and all that because it amused him. And I played one of three convicts that were linked together to be pulled into this man's house for a meal. And that was my first time on stage. I had the line of the three people. The guy said, "We're going to have Cherry's Jubilee for dessert." My line was, "Cherry's Jubilee." That was my line.
That's it.
So I went back home and I went, "Cherry's Jubilee, Cherry's Jubilee, Cherry's Jubilee." I rehearsed it every possible way I could enunciate it. And then when I got there, they took my line away and gave it to the other guy.
Oh, how sad.
There we go.
But I was still on stage.
So you have a British accent, but you have traveled all over Europe, right?
I traveled wherever the paper sent me. Can't say all over because
Tell us about
Italy, Greece, places like that. I've never been there.
Wait, but where did you not go, or where did you go?
Oh, let's see. France, Holland, Sweden, Switzerland, Spain.
Did you miss Germany?
Germany.
Okay.
But you were actually situated out of England?
Yes,
of London?
Out of London.
Okay.
Center of London.
What made you, how did you get that job? I mean, how did you get
I started playing 101 folk songs in a club there called Les Cousins, which is one of the earliest folk clubs in London that there is. Well, probably in the world, where people like Bert Jansch were playing, probably unknown here. John Renbourn and Al Stewart. Paul Simon played there. Donovan came by there.
Oh, I know.
It was in Greek Street in the middle of Soho. Well, when I was busking on the streets of Paris, one of the guys there said, "If you go back to London and you're homeless like you are, like I am," he said, "go to this place in Kilburn. Here's the address. Roy Harper, he's a folk singer. He takes in people. He'll put up anybody." Well, I did. So I went there and knocked on the door, and Roy Harper came down and he said, "Oh man, another one."
Oh my goodness.
But he was a nice guy, a great guy. He put me on the floor in my sleeping bag and my guitar, along with about 6 or 7 other guys.
All convicts. Listen, we have to take a break because time flies when we're having fun. It's already that mid-break time here on the Doc and Jacques live radio show, broadcasting proudly from KCIW 100.7 FM in lovely Brookings, Oregon. A list of major sponsors for our community radio station are Advanced Airlines, who fly in and out of Crescent City to Oakland and L.A. now 7 days a week. Michelle Bupert, hello to you, with our own vibrant local Curry County Chamber of Commerce. Nick and Lisa Rail, hello to you, and the PPA, the Partnership for Performing Arts. And lastly, my dear co-host, Dr. Gigi Reed, MD, and yours truly, Jacques, on behalf of KCIW, thanks to all of you. We are talking with LG, or Lon Goddard, about his trials and tribulations and fun times. What is busking, and what were you doing in France busking?
Busking is street singing for money in your hat or your guitar case or whatever you can beg. And there were a lot of guys doing that at the time. And I just got to London with a friend of mine. I only went to London on a lark out of Sacramento, out of Elk Grove, because my high school friend was going there. He had arranged a course in drama at Manchester University. So he upped and said, I'm going there. And I said, well, I got nothing else to do. So I went too, intending to be back before the summer was over. But he went into his course, and I met people who were playing guitar. I went over to Paris and busked on the streets there with them. That's when somebody said, if you're going back to London, go and see Roy Harper. He put me up on the floor, and I got along well with him. And I eventually drew his first LP cover, a cartoon of him. Cool. And then I played on 2 of his tracks as second guitar. And that sort of got me going in the folk clubs, and that's where I went into music.
Wow. So what are your favorite entertainer or music groups? You started with folk, right? But then
I'm still a folkie, I have to admit.
Okay, now when you were with the Mirror, who were some of your favorite entertainers and musicians that we'd all know? Who are the nice ones?
The nice ones? Well, they were all really nice, I have to say. It would be easier to answer who wasn't.
Well, that's the next question. You read our mind.
Well, the worst interview I ever did was Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond.
I like Neil Diamond.
I have to say that everybody converged on London at that time in around the 1960s, the late 60s. And so he was one, and I was out to see him. But he must have had a bad day, or perhaps all of his days were bad. But when I got there, he was upset with everybody, the hotel, his crew, just the world. And so he started calling everybody, what did he say? A beat-off.
Okay, you can't
swear.
You're
they're a beat-off. My crew's a bunch of beat-offs. Everybody's the hotel. They're full of. And I started counting these. He didn't call me one, but he called everybody else one. In the end, he said that 25 times. So in the feature that I wrote, I put it in there.
Wow.
So he didn't like you after that, for sure, right?
He was just the most miserable person.
Oh, sad.
Is that I Am, Said I? Yeah. That's Neil Diamond? I was confused.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right.
He wrote some great songs.
All right. But how about the hands-down best interviewer, or celebrity or musician?
Or the one that you're most proud of?
Did you really?
Keith Richards.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was fun. Because he had this Keith Richards about him.
Was he playing the hard part then? He was playing he was truly into, what was he doing?
Well, this was about the time of Beggar's Banquet.
Okay.
And I got to, the Stones' office was just a few blocks from Record Mirror's office. I couldn't get to see them. And then a friend of mine said, what you need to do is go and talk to the lady who's the front desk there, the secretary lady. Forgot her name now. And then you might get somewhere. So I did. I went to talk to her instead of going through their publicist. And she set me up with each one of them in a row, except Jagger, whom I met later. But Keith Richards was the star one. So I got to spend about an hour and a half around a single table with him and nobody else but my photographer.
Smoking cigarettes.
He was. Oh, I was too. Yes,
Yeah.
I was a smoker.
Having
But the thing about Keith was he was able to randomly enter into a sentence, and then he would get a few words into it, and then he would just stop, and you'd think, what's going on? Is he lost the train of thought? And then he would come right back into it again as if there was no space.
Weird.
He'd say, I'll tell you what, I was in France one day, and then I was up against the wall in this window, and then I came down the stairs, and then and he would go like that.
Mini TIA, is that what?
Yeah,
mini. Do you have a whole bunch of paper ephemera or collections of your art and travels tickets?
Well, fortunately, when I joined Record Mirror's staff, and I joined them as a cartoonist, because I took my crude cartoons around there. I saw the other music papers, and I drew the caricatures of the people they'd photographed. Took them around to Record Mirror. They hired me. So I'd put one a week in there.
Wow.
And then I eventually became a writer and a layout man and worked all the way up. But it was just, I was advised against this by a lady called Judith Piape, who did run a social workers house in London, picking up out of place folkies and taking them home and trying to direct them into what they should do. She took me home, as she had just taken Paul Simon home previous to that, and he got off to do other things.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'd like to do music and all that stuff. And she said, well, I've got this newly ordained priest in Trafalgar Square. He's got a folk club just starting. And maybe that's what you should do, is run that. So I'll introduce you to this newly ordained priest. And I said, well, I have this alternate idea that I can draw people and go around to the papers, and I'll probably get a job doing that. No, you don't want to do that. You want to do what I want you to do. So she brought the priest around, and he must have been about 21, and he's going, oh, yes, I really like you. You're a lovely person, and you play the guitar, as I could see. You're a person I want to run my folk club. Absolutely right. It's a bingo thing we're going to do. And I said to Judith, I don't want to do this. And she said, well, somebody else then probably needs your bed.
Oh,
wow.
That was it.
Then I went around to the papers and got the job.
Right.
He could be doing bingo. Jeez.
And now you and Claire travel quite a bit. We followed you for the past few years on Facebook, where you were. What's your favorite city? You love going back to London because you know a lot of.
For a long while I thought Paris was my favorite city. And to be fair, it's difficult to juggle it with London, which is my favorite city, because London has all my friends.
Yeah.
I've got some friends in Paris too, and I love the art of Paris, but I can't select one without the other. If I had to, I would say London.
Wow. And Claire once said to me, we haven't talked too much, but she said it's getting harder and harder because many of your old good buddies have passed, or these people have passed on.
That's so true.
And so there's only a limited amount of time. Do you plan a trip every year to Europe?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's what I work for all year.
Right.
Is to go and see them before they peg out, or I do.
Right.
Peg out.
You're looking healthy.
You brought your guitar. Yoo-hoo. When did you start playing the guitar?
Yeah, about 1962 or 3.
How old were you?
I bought some guitar with blue chip stamps.
Whoa, I remember blue chip.
I know.
Green
What does that mean?
Green, okay, blue chips. Okay.
Back in Elk Grove, and tried to learn from a 101 book. And I started listening to music then, mostly folk players. And then Donovan came along. And to be fair, his records is what got me into what I do.
Oh. Wow.
I thought, how does he do that nice picking like that? So smooth. It's absolutely timed. And how does he do that?
I could just rattle off his hits. Must be the Season of the Witch and
these were not very early.
Mellow Yellow.
He was able to do things like picks like this. thought, how does he do that? So I kept listening to the doggone records incessantly, and I got it wrong all the time, but I had a crude version of it, and then suddenly something hit me. I don't know when it was, but a couple of years after that, I realized that all these guys are doing this all the time, and then... and as soon as you got that bass thing going, just work the other fingers. That's how he does it.
Now you do it.
He was fabulous. I guess Donovan, he was famous. I've read where he didn't really get all the credit he was due, but
he was famous. We even knew him in Germany.
Yeah, he had a lot of. I got records from Germany and from France that were not released in the U.S. When I got over there, and I was, wow, here's stuff I don't know yet.
Wow.
And I learned almost everything just by ear when I finally got that little secret of the bass lines.
Very cool. So how would you describe your music that you design, play?
Retired folk.
I'm retired folk too.
It's kind of ambiguous. I was about to say
he's still working, but I'm retired folk.
Well, it's old style folk, but there's ways of accentuating with like a... you can do...
So lovely, right?
Or... You can just change the beat and...
interesting.
So, as long as you can get different rhythms, you can play almost anything.
That almost made me want to start calling auction. All right. Do you play any other instruments at all?
My parents started me when I was about 11, when a guy came around selling steel guitar lessons.
Wow.
And they put me up to it.
Cool.
And I was thrilled, but not for very long, because the stuff on the radio, all the pop stuff, which I adored, it was impossible to do on a little guitar sitting on your lap that was in an open tuning. So you could only really use like frets 2, 5, and 7, and then little single strings in between, because it was in an open tuning. But it did have the advantage of the slide that you get with steel guitar.
We ask all musicians, and most of them say no.
But eventually my steel guitar teacher said, I've taught you all I know.
Wow.
So off you go.
Wow.
And then
go.
couple of guys who were a little older than me trying to do Everly Brothers stuff said, oh, you have a guitar? Could you just go doom, 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 behind what we do? And I did that for about 10 minutes before I thought, don't want to do this. So I got a regular guitar, the stamp books, and then I started in.
The real deal. All right. Would you like to play us a couple of songs? Now, I understand you have originals, but you mainly do covers. And who are some of the artists that you cover routinely? Is it Dylan and some of the other?
Donovan.
Well, I do a lot of Donovan, Paul Simon, Chris Christopherson.
Right. Wow.
Good.
Let's see.
Must be the season.
I'm trying to think of the people without my list.
Yeah, you have a long list, and you are so good because you also add a little bit of humor, and you tell stories in between your sets. What do you got to play for us? You got to play us a ditty.
Well, since we have a copyright problem, I'm going to
make something up.
Here's one that most people might know. My Grandfather's Clock.
Okay.
Now my grandfather's clock was too tall for the shelf, so it stayed 90 years on the floor. It was taller by half than the old man himself, though it weighed not a penny, weighed more. It was but on the morn of the day that he was born, and was always his treasure and pride. But it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. Now my grandfather said, of those he could hire, not a person so grateful he found, for it wasted no time, and it had but one desire, at the end of each week to be wound. And he stayed in his place, with his hands upon his face, but the hands never hung by the side. It stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. Then it rang an alarm in the dead of the night, an alarm that for years had been dumb, and we knew that his spirit was plumbing forth flight, and the hour of departure had come. Still that clock kept the chime with its soft and mournful charm, as we all gathered around by his side. Then it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. Yes, it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died.
Yay!
There we got the quintessential Lon Goddard, or LG. Yeah, okay, you got it. We have just really enjoyed talking with Lon Goddard today, and we are happy that he has been in. He has had to step out of the studio for a minute, but Gigi, do you have any funny little jokes?
Yeah, no, but I have quotes.
Oh, okay.
I'm the quote queen.
Okay, what do you got today?
I have the one from Leonard Cohen. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
Okay, I think I get it. How about, what do you do with 100 peaches? Now listen to this. What do you do with 100 peaches? Well, you eat what you can, and you can what you can't.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good one.
That's more of a quote, right?
I know. Yeah, it's a good
Hey, what else do you do?
Could be, right? Okay, I have some light quotes, right? So, because last time we didn't get to it. Nothing can dim the light which shines from within. It's like a tradition.
It's kind of along with that other one you did there. Hey, did you hear about the plane that crashed in the jungle, Doctor?
No.
Every single person died.
Whoa.
But the married couples were all okay.
Oh my gosh. Is this horrible?
Hey, if a child refuses to nap, are they guilty of resisting arrest?
Okay, I have a little quote.
Okay.
Other than you, we should be the mirror that reflects it.
That's sweet in a way.
Yeah.
I asked a chicken recently, how many eggs does it lay every day?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, 1 egg. And I said, well, that's strange. And she said, what's strange? The fact that I lay an egg, only 1 egg a day? And I said, no, the fact that you are talking to me.
And she was a mathma chicken.
A mathema chicken. That's when they count their eggs. That's right. All right, what else?
Education is the movement from darkness to light.
Okay.
Right?
Why can't milk cartons walk? Because they lack toes. They lack toes.
It was cute in the beginning.
What did the soup say to the sushi?
What?
You make me so happy.
Okay. You're pretty funny.
Okay. What else?
So we're going to ask him when he comes back if he has synesthesia.
If he has synesthesia. Didn't we ask that? He's been on the show once before.
Okay, we can still ask him that.
All right,
Not
what's the
everybody
difference?
remembers it.
What's the difference between a carrot and a unicorn, Doctor?
What?
Well, one is a funny beast, and the other is a bunny feast.
Ew. It's not funny, but it's cute.
That's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And at the zoo recently, I noticed a slice of toast in one of the enclosures. So I asked the keeper, I said, hey, how did that toast get into the cage? And he said, well, it was bred in captivity.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Lon, do you have synesthesia?
What is that?
That is when, because we asked the musicians mainly.
We asked all the musicians, yeah.
And I thought that's what you were going to ask. When you when you hear music, do you think in numbers or colors or vibrations, or do you associate one input of a sense with another?
Well, I have tunes going on in my head all the time.
Oh,
It's difficult to sleep sometimes because they're running
Really?
through. And then if I'm intending to do a song, I can't get to sleep because I need to go through the lyrics over and over and over. The brain won't stop.
wow.
I don't know how you would phrase that or name it,
Yeah.
but it means that just about all the time when I'm not saying something and therefore concentrating on a subject,
Yeah.
songs are going on in the head
Wow.
all the time.
Well, you're a real musician, I guess, right?
She sees numbers instead of colors. So if she sees her favorite color is number 24 or
No, my favorite color is
1 to 100. How about brown? What is brown?
66. No, orange. No, my favorite color is orange, which happens to be 24.
Right.
But my favorite number is 28,
Which is what?
which is like a turquoise, which is not my favorite color.
Okay, now we know. That's
And we-
synesthesia. Or some people see mathematical
Or symbols. or-
equations when
Yeah.
they're playing guitar or whatever.
something
Well,
is equal.
it's rare. 2% of the population has it. I
I'm
don't.
colorblind, so my favorite color is actually black.
Oh, be
You're
darned. Oh,
colorblind?
Completely.
Well, red, green, yeah.
Yeah. Red, green. Oh, wow. It's on the
So
X chromosome.
does he see a green lawn or a red lawn?
He sees we don't.
Well, his name is Lawn.
It's difficult to negotiate colors on fabrics, for instance,
Right.
and pastel colors.
Wow. Gigi just recently diagnosed me with color blindness. And wow, that came out of the purple instead of the blue. Okay. All right. Are you going to play anything else?
You have
That
another.
was a good one.
Have to remember that, polish it a little bit. Charles Schultz recently died as one of the richest Americans of the 20th century, despite the fact that he got to start making peanuts. Okay. Do you have anything else you'd like to play with us for about the next 8 minutes, or would you like
Well, I could probably
We have some more questions for you.
muster up one. Well, your
Muster-
choice.
muster.
Would you like to hear some?
Yeah.
Let's hear
I
it. Let's
wanna
hear it.
hear
We
some.
like your song. We like your playing and your voice, and it's so much fun. This is an iconic person we have in this.
Well, then here's a little tune called "The Fox." The fox went out on a chilly night. He prayed for the moon to give him light. He had many a mile to go that night before he reached the town. Oh, town, oh, town, oh. He had many a mile to go that night before he reached the town. So he run till he come to a great big bend. The ducks and the geese were kept therein. He said, a couple of you were gonna grease my chin before I leave this town. Oh, town, oh, town, oh. Well, a couple of you were gonna grease my chin before I leave this town. Oh. So we grabbed the gray goose by the neck and slung the duck across his back. And he didn't mind the quack, 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 all the legs all dangling down, oh, down, oh, down, oh. Well, he didn't mind the quack, 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 all the legs all dangling down, oh. Now the old girl jumped up off the bed, and out the window she popped her head. She said, John, John, the goose is gone, the fox is on the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. Well, John, John, the goose is gone, the fox is on the town, oh. So Johnny run up atop the hill, and he blowed his horn both loud and shrill. The fox said, I'd better run like hell. They'll all be on my tail, oh, tail, oh, tail, oh. Well, the fox said, I'd better run like hell. They'll all be on my tail, oh. So we run till he come to his cozy den, and there was the little ones 8, 9, 10, saying, Daddy, you ought to go back again. It must be a real fine town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. Well, Daddy, you ought to go back again. It must be a real fine town, oh. And then the fox and his wife, without no strife, they cut up the goose with a fork and knife. They never had such a feed in their life. And the little ones chewed on a bones, oh, bones, oh, bones, oh. Well, they never had such a feed in their life. The little ones chewed on the bones, oh, chewing on the bones, oh, chewing on the bones, oh, chewing on the bones, oh. Well, they're chewing on the bones. Yeah, the fox went out on a chilly night. He prayed for the moon to give him light. He had many a mile to go that night before he reached the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. He had many a mile to go that night before he reached the town, oh. He had many a mile to go that night before he reached the town, oh.
Ah, cute.
How
Yes.
fun is that? A story. You're a story legend. Really, you are. You've done a lot of things. You've brought a joy to a lot of people. You are doing your act. What did you recent? Like Saturday, you're doing it. Misty Mountain.
Saturday, I'm Misty Mountain here. Yes, from 6 to 8.
And then
And the next Wednesday, I'm at the Coon Tie, same time, 6 to 8.
Today, yeah, there you go. That's amazing. Where do you see yourself in 2 years, Lon?
Mm-hmm. Well, where do I see myself in 2 years? Underground.
No, not
Wrong answer.
the
Try
Underground
again.
Railroad.
No. I'm going to keep on going. So I see myself in terms of getting back to London every year.
Yeah.
So I reckon that's where I'll be.
Right on.
As a matter of fact, I asked my lady Claire to cast my ashes on Greek Street in front of the folk club, Les Cousins, when I have expired.
So, or part of your ashes can be scattered there, but you should scatter some here in the ocean too.
Oh yeah, you can throw them where you like. Really.
No, can you take ashes?
We found out from the mortuary people we had on a couple of weeks ago that in Oregon, it's perfectly legal as long as you don't make a spectacle.
It's perfectly legal.
You can put your ashes anywhere. These are from
I'd like to make a spectacle of it.
Damn, I forgot about that. What will your tombstone say? Have you put any thought into that?
For quite a long time, it was going to say, what was it going to say?
He was here. He tried his best, and then he went and headed.
Well, it's already in Azalea Park.
Oh
yeah, you're on a rack. You're on a thing.
Elmo.
Yeah.
I'm right there with Elmo.
Right.
But for a long time, it was going to be. There was nothing he couldn't do, so he didn't.
Okay, that's a good
This is such a interesting fellow and a friend to many in our community. You're out there making your music and singing your songs on a regular basis. So good for you that you're keeping up. And your stories are phenomenal. So we hats off. We bow low before you, Lon.
Yeah, so
We really do.
interesting. And we only scratched the surface, really.
Yeah, we have. We had you on.
Ouch.
Was it over 6? Was it over 6 months ago? When did we have Lon on? But you're always welcome anytime. This is a wonderful time. All right. I think it's about that time. Again, Lon
Yes,
Goddard,
thank you,
thank you
Lon,
for coming in
and playing
some
for us.
music and telling your story.
Ooh,
All right,
now,
Doc, what do you
it
got?
is our exit time here. You have been listening to the Doc and Jacques show on KCRW 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon. We hope you have enjoyed our show as much as you have. I mean, we have learning about Lon
Goddard. Yeah, indeed. Peace and prosperity to everyone out there. Thanks again, Tom Bozak, Linda, and all the people that make this syndicated show possible to be aired up and down our beautiful coast. Mail us if you are or you know of a talented, interesting person that might join us on this very show. Our new email is Doc, D-O-C, and Jacques at gmail.com. Hey, stay tuned for Tony Durso right after this program. Thanks again.
Goodbye.